Good morning, Boulder Valley. Matt Eldred here with
Timothy Eldred.
Timmy, my youngest. And we just want to say good morning and welcome to our online worship service at Boulder Valley. I wanted Timmy to welcome you all today. A lot of you haven't gotten to see Timmy in a long time, but he is home for the summer. So I wanted him to share a little bit about Boulder Valley and his quarantine time and maybe a thoughtful verse for you today. So welcome, Timmy.
Thank you. Thank you.
So tell me your first memory of Boulder Valley. What's one of your first memories of coming to Boulder Valley?
Probably one of my first memories at Boulder Valley is playing on the playground outside, the big metal one we have. And I thought I could walk on top of the monkey bars, and I fell off and hurt myself.
Yeah, and who came to help you?
No one really.
No,
but
nobody.
I came
That's
inside,
great.
but I came inside and people were trying to help me
Okay.
and make me feel better.
And your parents were very supportive?
For the most part.
Were they even around?
No, I don't think so.
So, yes, so the Eldred family, we came to Boulder Valley in 2006. I think Timmy was 4-ish at the time, so probably 4 or 5 years old was the first time you fell off of the very safe playground that we have out behind our building. So that's your favorite memory. I'm glad you at least remember it.
Yeah.
It's not like a concussion where you passed
No,
out.
for the most
All
part.
right, well, good. Well, what's one of your favorite memories of Boulder Valley? Was it falling off the playground also, or is there a favorite memory?
Well, that was a good one, but probably my favorite memory is just the lock-ins in general with the youth group and playing sniper.
Sniper.
Yeah.
You have to explain to the people what sniper is that don't know.
Running in the dark very fast with glow sticks and yelling and running.
Running in the dark church building with glow sticks.
Yeah, very
Favorite
safe.
memory, yes.
Very safe.
And another safe memory at Boulder Valley.
Exactly.
I see a theme here. So yes, if you are in the youth group or you are coming into the youth group, you know what sniper is, and that's probably one of your favorite memories.
For sure.
Very good. Well, Timmy, what's a favorite? Well, before that, so we're in quarantine time here. But what have you been doing during quarantine time, or how did you get back home?
Well, when everything first kind of started, I was still in Oklahoma, and it was actually my spring break, so I just left to go to San Antonio with my friends and visit one of their houses and just hang out. And it didn't really feel real yet that the whole quarantine thing was starting, so it was sort of the beginning of it. So there we just had fun, hung out, and got to see places like the Alamo and cool
Nice.
places like that. Before
And it wasn't very
everything shut
crowded.
down. Yeah, no one was there. No one was there at all.
All right.
But after that, I came home. Well, I stayed in Oklahoma for a little bit and finished out school online. But then after I finished, I came home, and then since then, just been hanging out, playing cards,
Yep.
and cooking food.
So you're home for the summer,
Yep.
and you're going to be a sophomore.
Yes.
And go back to Oklahoma Christian in the fall as your plan.
Yep.
Very good. Well, what's one of your favorite verses or things that you've grown up at Boulder Valley coming to love about favorite verse in the Bible?
Definitely my favorite verse is going to be Romans 8:31. What then shall we say in response to these things? If God is for us, who can stand against us? And that's just my favorite verse because a lot of times, especially in hardship like this, I just have to sit back and think, I'm not big enough to do this all on my own, and that God can do anything, and that I just have to have faith that He'll be there and that He can help us through this time.
If God is for us, who can be against us? That's a good theme as we kick off worship this morning, and a good theme for this time in our lives right now, that God's a lot bigger than us. He's a lot bigger than COVID-19, and He's for us. And so what can be against us? So Timmy's going to pray, and then we'll continue worship this morning.
Pray with me. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this time that we can come together as one whole to you, God, and that we can just worship even though we're not together, that we can still worship and just praise you. I just pray for everyone all across that they can just be safe, and that during this time that we don't lose faith, and that we can just keep trusting you, God. I just pray for the worship here today that we can just be blessed and that we can come together, God. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Anything you want to say to your Boulder Valley family?
I miss y'all. It's good to be back.
See y'all soon. glad morning when this life is o'er. I'll fly away to a home on God's celestial shore. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away in the morning when I die. Hallelujah, by and by. I'll fly away. When the shadows of this life have grown, I'll fly away. Like a bird from prison bars has flown, I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away in the morning when I die. Hallelujah, by and by. I'll fly away. Just a few more weary days and then I'll fly away to a land where joy shall never end. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away in the morning when I die. Hallelujah, by and by. I'll fly away.
Good morning, Boulder Valley, and happy Mother's Day. Since it is Mother's Day, I have been contemplating a lot about mothers this week. And after living with kids and then basically moving back in with my parents this month, I've got to tell you, I have a new respect for mothers, especially mine. My thoughts over the last few days while thinking about this communion thought have gone from verses like Isaiah 49:15, can a mother forget her nursing child? Can she feel no love for a child she has borne? But even if that were possible, I would never forget you. To verses like Matthew 23:37, where it says, how often I have wanted to gather your children together as a hen protects her chicks beneath her wing. But it wasn't until I heard my mom say to my 4-year-old niece that if she could, she would never let anything happen to her, even something as simple as a spider bite. That was when I started thinking about a mother's love being similar to Christ's love for us. Then later, my mom and I had a conversation about mothers sacrificing for their children and or grandchildren, and how you could parallel that with Jesus' sacrifice for us. How awesome that we have a God that, while things may happen to us, He comforts us like a mother, shelters us like a mother, loves us like a mother, and gives us the ultimate sacrifice of His life. How incredible. And with those thoughts in mind, will you bow with me in prayer? Thank you, Lord, for giving us our mothers that we may catch a small glimpse of what a sacrificial love looks like. I also thank you for giving us these emblems in the bread and the cup that we take each week in order to reflect and remember your sacrifice for us. And in Jesus' name, I pray. Amen.
power of sin and darkness, whose love is mighty and so much stronger, the King of glory, the King above all kings, who shakes the whole earth with holy thunder, who leaves us breathless in awe and wonder, the King of glory, the King above all kings. This is amazing grace. This is unfailing love, that you would take my place, that you would bear my cross, you would lay down your life, that I would be set free. Oh, Jesus, I sing for all that you've done for me. Who brings our chaos back into order, who makes the orphan a son and daughter, the King of glory, the King above all kings, who rules the nations with truth and justice, shines like the sun in all of its brilliance, the King of glory, the King above all kings. This is amazing grace. This is unfailing love, that you would take my place, that you would bear my cross, you lay down your life, that I would be set free. Oh, Jesus, I sing for all that you've done for me. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain, and worthy is the King who conquered the grave. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain, and worthy is the King who conquered the grave. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain, and worthy is the King who conquered the grave. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Worthy, worthy, worthy. This is amazing grace. This is unfailing love, that you would take my place, that you would bear my cross, you lay down your life, that I would be set free. Oh, Jesus, I sing for all that you've done for me. From the day that I met you, I stopped feeling afraid. In your arms I feel safe. In your arms I feel safe. From the day that I met you, I stopped feeling afraid. In your
Good morning, Boulder Valley family. I am glad to be with you this morning. I've got great news to start your week off with, and that news is that even in the middle of COVID, even in the middle of craziness and hard times, our God is on His throne. He is with us, and He is for us. And the church at home says, Amen. We're glad you guys are with us this morning, and today is Mother's Day, and so we're going to spend some time focusing on this beautiful, incredible gift and this mystery of mothers, and I'm very aware that on days like Mother's Day and Father's Day and even holidays like Thanksgiving and Christmas, that these are, for a lot of people, these are beautiful, wonderful experiences and times to remember their family, but we also know that there's others that, man, that these days may be really difficult and hard. My hope and prayer is that you have a really great relationship with your mother. And when you think of your mother, you have wonderful memories and a beautiful relationship with her. But we also know that life is hard and difficult, and we live in a fallen world. and that not everyone on Mother's Day is excited to honor their mother, that it's hard for them to try to honor their mother. So we've talked about this before, and I'll try to cover this kind of quickly, but we've talked about these are what I like to call Ezra 3 moments. In the book of Ezra, chapter 3, I'd encourage you back and read it, but basically what you have is you have a group of young people who they've been taken off into exile, and they're finally coming back to Jerusalem. They're coming back home, and for the first time ever, they are seeing the temple be rebuilt. And they are rejoicing and they are celebrating because they are seeing the foundation of the temple. And so they cry out for joy and excitement and worship. But the older people, they saw the original temple, and this new temple is so much smaller than the original temple. And so it says, as the older priests and as the older people, the men and women, as they saw the foundation of the temple being laid, they began to weep. And there's a beautiful line at the end of Ezra that says that you couldn't distinguish the joy from the sorrow, the weeping from the celebration, that they blended together. And so I know this morning that we may be experiencing that. And Tammy and I, it's been bizarre for us as we've been calling people in our shepherding circle and checking up with people in the church that for some of you, you guys are going, well, man, I can't wait for this COVID stuff to be over with, but and you don't want people to get sick and die or have bad financial situations, things like that. I get that. But honestly, for some of you, you're kind of going, this has been a nice change of pace. I'm at home with my family and getting to work from home and spend more time with my kids. And so for some of you, you're on one side of the fence. But for others of you, we know that there's others of you that, man, this is a horrible, terrible, tragic time in your life. And I'm so thankful for the family of God that we come together with those who are weeping and those who are celebrating. And in the New Testament, we're told that whenever those who are rejoicing, we should rejoice with our brothers and sisters when good things happen to them. But when bad things happen, we should be willing to weep and mourn with them. And so we all come together today with that in mind. So with all that in mind, let me start off again by saying Happy Mother's Day. And just a reminder, let you guys know that Laura Mans, she's due on the 13th. I was texting with Dave the other day, and he was saying that, man, she's due. She could have the baby anytime. So be reaching out to them, letting them know that we're praying for them, we're thinking of them. Look at this beautiful photo that they went and just got recently of Laura. Laura might be a professional pregnancy model, so I don't know if that's something you want to do or not. But man, we are excited for the Mans family and how we've been looking forward to and praying about, and we want to celebrate with them when this little El Nino is born. So this idea of motherhood, I want to try to kind of come at this and maybe give you a little bit of different of experience this morning. I love in Genesis 1 and 2 that as God is creating, it says that every day he would create something and he would look at it and he would say, it is good. And I think we kind of sometimes we use too broad of a brush to paint the creation. That, okay, on day one he created this, and on day two he created this. We make these really big, broad sweeps of what he made. But man, think about the intricate detail of what all God has created in our world. God gave us these beautiful, incredible things in life. He gave us things like taste buds. He didn't have to give us taste buds, but he did, so we could enjoy different types of food. He gave us nerve endings where we could enjoy warmth. Whenever we're cold, warming our hands up over a fire, or whenever we're hot outside and a cool breeze, those feelings, he gave us that incredible gift. He gave us the gift of humor and laughter. Well, most of us. Some of you guys I'm concerned about your humor level, but he gave us this incredible gift of laughter. Why? He didn't have to put that into creation, but he did. He put in us this desire to notice and actually seek out beauty. This last Wednesday night, there was a beautiful sunset, and our daughter Irish was in town, and we were out on a walk, and man, we just sat on the back of my pickup truck, the truck bed, and we just watched this sunset. It was gorgeous, and as we were watching it, other people stopped and they were watching it and they were taking photos. And you've probably seen that, and you've seen where people try to get in a certain area so they can see the beauty that surrounds them. Why is that? Why do people do that? I believe the reason they're doing that is because that beauty is calling us back to the beginning. It's calling us back to the garden where we came from. So take this idea, the whole story starts back in Genesis 1, where we came from, okay? And I love this idea that God is the giver of life, that after he creates all of creation, then he breathes life into man with his very own lungs. If he has lungs, he kneels down and he breathes into them. We're told in John 10:10 that Jesus says that he has come to give us life and to give it to us in abundance, to give it to us in full. And so think about that for a minute, because mothers, you know what you do? The incredible honor and gift that you have? You have the gift and honor that you have, or you will, give life. And then after you give life to a child, what do? You seek to give them life in abundance, don't you? To take care of them and to give them life in the full. Okay? In the Ten Commandments, it's interesting that one of the very first commandments that Jesus gives us is he says, don't make any images of me. The second one, he says, don't bow down to images. Don't make any images of me. But yet, in the garden, he gave Eve, our first mother, the ability to make images of him. We are all image bearers of God. And mothers, you have had the incredible honor of you get to make lots of little images of our God. Isn't that incredible? You guys have probably heard before that, I think like the 80s or 90s or something like that, somebody did research on when a child falls and hurts themselves out playing. And if they get hurt and if they run towards their parents, they run towards their mother and their father, typically who does the child typically run to? The mother, right? Why is that? I mean, what is it inside of us that makes us go, I run to my mother whenever I'm hurt? And I think it has to do with the fact that, well, there's safety there, but I also think it has to do with the fact that we know that that is the person who gave us life. They offer us a place of safety. I want you to hear that again. Typically, our mothers offer us a place of safety. Now take that idea of feeling safe, especially in the middle of all the craziness that we're living in right now. Take that idea and I want you to park that, okay? And we're going to come back to that here in a minute. Now, most of us have had a very tender place in our hearts for our mothers in one way or another. Okay, we're thankful for them, and we're thankful that they make us feel safe and that they gave us life and that they brought us up taking care of us. But I want you to think about this for a minute. This idea, if God is the giver of life, and then he tells women, I want for you to be the one that produces and gives life. Really, I think what's going on, the reason that we are so drawn and we're so thankful and we find mothers such a safe place is because of this, is because they are reflecting the glory of God. Okay? I've mentioned this before, this idea of the moon up in the sky. The moon has no glory of its own. The moon is just a dead rock. Why? But just recently we just had what's called a supermoon. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you guys knew that we had the supermoon. I think it's like 15% brighter or closer. I don't know if it's closer. That'd probably kill us. But it's 15% brighter than normal, and it is absolutely amazing and gorgeous. And you know what? The moon has no glory to offer. It's only reflecting what it's showing from the sun. So this idea of why, especially as children, we were so drawn to our mothers. I think there's something much deeper going on. I think we're being drawn back to what life was like in the garden before the fall. I think we're being drawn, yes, to our mothers that we're thankful for, but something deeper because our mothers are reflecting the glory of God. That God is the one who gives us life. God is the one who blesses us and wants us for us to live our life in abundance. And our mothers have been playing out, typically our mothers play that out in our lives. I think there's something deeper going on here. Did you know that that God actually uses quite a few different descriptions of himself that are feminine? Now we feel comfortable with the idea of God being king, masculine, or father, masculine, or a warrior, masculine. But in reality, God describes himself many, many times as compassionate, that he is a compassionate God. And in the Hebrew language of the Old Testament, how it was originally written in the Hebrew, the word for compassion is rahum. Rahum, and I'm sure, Brad, I screwed that up, so you can correct me later on that, okay? But Rahum is also the word for womb. It's also the word for womb. So God is compassionate. So God is womb-like, if you will. There's this great story in the book of Job where God is trying to explain to Job. He's come to Job and he's talked to him, and he's explaining all the intricate details and the creativeness and the beauty and the complexity of his creation and what all he's made. And he says this to Job. He says, at one point he asked him, he goes, "Hey, Job, from whose womb came the ice? Where do you think the snow comes from? Who gave birth to the frost from the heavens?" And God's answer to Job is, "Job, it came from my womb." Now, yes, this is poetry, so we can't read too much into this, but nonetheless, God gives himself different feminine imagery about himself. As a matter of fact, towards the end of our lesson, we're going to show a video, and I'm going to share some of those scriptures with you in that video of the different images that God gives of himself as in a feminine view. So let me ask this question. I'm going to ask this of mothers. Those of you who are watching this morning, you've been mothers. What are some words you would give, and feel free to push pause if you want to, if you're there with your kids, push pause, and what are some words you would give to describe your feelings toward your children? How would you describe how you feel towards your children? Okay? Give some of those words. And I think of this as a child. What are some words you think your mother would say about you? Okay? What are some words you would words she would say to describe how she loves you and how she feels about you? Okay? Now, we could all probably kind of answer that for each other, couldn't we? All right? Now, time out, and let me ask this question. How do you think your God feels about you? How do you think your God feels towards you? I mean, think about it. We have scriptures that talk about how he is the one who knit you together in your mother's womb. We have scriptures that talk about how he saw you even before you were born. He saw your frame being made even before you were born. We were told that he has made us just a little lower than the angels. How does your God feel towards you? And my guess and my question is that a lot of the descriptions of what a mother would say about how they love their children, those are going to be the descriptions that God says about us. About how we feel loved from our mother. That should be, hopefully, the same way we feel God's love towards us, because I believe mothers are just reflecting the glory of God to us. I'm going to play this little video for you, and hopefully this will make sense. And this is a song by Stevie Wonder. The name of this song is "Isn't She Lovely?" And Stevie Wonder wrote this song for his daughter. Her name is Ashia. Ashia, I think? Ashia, okay? And I love the title of the album. The title of the album was called "Songs in the Key of Life." And a matter of fact, the original song started off with some baby noises, and that was his first daughter, Ashia, with these little baby noises at the beginning of the song. And towards the end of the song, there's actually some noises of his little daughter playing in a bath and splashing water and laughing and everything. Now, you may be like, "I've heard that song a lot, Rob. I've never heard a baby at the beginning. I've never heard a baby taking a bath." That's because you didn't get the original soundtrack. The original song that Stevie Wonder wrote for his daughter was 6 minutes long. And the record companies came to Stevie Wonder and they said, "Okay, thanks for this 6-minute long thing, but we want to play this on the radio. You got to shorten it. We got to get rid of the baby laughter. We got to get rid of the long thing where the bath and the baby noises." And Stevie Wonder for years and years and years said, "No, I'm not doing that." And so it wasn't until I think he finally lost the rights to that song that they shortened that song down. But I just love the words of this song. And so I want you to watch this video, and I want you to listen to the words of this song, and I want you to think about this for a minute, that as a parent, how did you feel towards your children? It doesn't matter what part, especially for mothers, it doesn't matter what part of the world you're from, it doesn't matter your cultural history or how you were brought up. Man, mothers, you know how they feel towards their children? They feel like they are wonderful. They feel like they are beautiful. They feel like they are so in love with them. They feel so blessed to get to have that child in their life. That's the same way our God feels towards us. So I want you to watch this video, and I want you to enjoy the cuteness of the babies, and I want you to enjoy the beauty of the mothers with their babies and the fathers with their babies and the words. But man, I want you to watch this with both physical eyes of Mother's Day, but I also want you to watch this with spiritual eyes and think about how our Father feels like, oh, He is so in love with you and that you are wonderful. Let's watch this.
Isn't she lovely? Isn't she wonderful? Isn't she precious? Less than 1 minute old. I never thought through love would be making one as lovely as she. Isn't she lovely? Made from love. Isn't she pretty? Truly the angel's best. Boy, I'm so happy. We have been heaven blessed. I can't believe what God has done. Through us, He's given life to us. Isn't she lovely? Made from love.
Okay, did you feel it? Did you kind of feel the joy going on in that video? I love that this video is of babies and mothers from all over the world. Isn't it wonderful? Little pun there, Stevie Wonder. Okay, there's something as you watch that, if that stirs anything inside of your heart, there's something deeper going on there. There's just something that fills us with joy, with new life. Our God is the giver of life. When we see new life, we're drawn to it lots of times. There's something that we're drawn to about the innocence of young new life, isn't there? Well, I think there's something deeper going on there. John 16:21, Jesus has a quote talking about mothers and talking about childbirth, and he's talking about two different things as he teaches this. In John 16:21, he says, "When a woman is giving birth, she has sorrow because her hour has come." Okay? Mothers, do you remember how you were excited? Oh, okay, yes, that day is here. And then as soon as those labor pains kicked in, oh, it just got real, didn't it? Okay? Tammy and I, we were in college still. We were married for 11 months when we had our daughter Irish, okay? We were kids. I was 22. I think we were both 22. And we were just like, you have got to be kidding me. All of our friends were making fun of us going, oh, your life is over, man. We can't believe you guys are having a baby. And I just remember how terrified I was when I would think about, we're really going to go to the hospital and Tammy's going to give birth to a child, and then they're going to give that kid to us and we have to take it home and raise it. We can barely take care of ourselves. We were terrified. We were horrified. I had to keep reminding myself, everybody in the world has been through this in one way or another, okay? Either every woman has given birth or every person has been born. So this isn't totally brand new, okay? We can do this, okay? But think about as soon as those labor pains kick in, man, it gets serious. It gets intense. Matter of fact, it can be life-threatening. But a mother is willing to go through that so that she can have her child. I love let's go back to what John 16 says, where Jesus is saying, when a woman is giving birth, she has sorrow because her hour has come. But when she has delivered the baby, she no longer remembers the anguish. And why doesn't she remember it? For the joy that a human being has been born into this world. Why in the world would God create this earth and the way that life is passed on through a woman giving birth and it being such a painful process. Why would he do that? I don't know. I understand it completely. But I believe there's something beautiful to it. I believe there's something deeper going on with the fact that the mother, when she gets pregnant and she carries this child causes her life to change before it's even born, and then she has to go through sweat and tears and blood and pain to bring life to that child. There's something going on there that's spiritually deep. Tim Mackey is the guy that works with the Bible Project and the Bible Project videos that we've been sharing lately. And he's also a teacher and a preacher. And I want you to watch this short section where he was teaching on the Psalms. And as he was teaching on the Psalms, he was talking about using the Psalms to pray as we go through fear. And he was saying we need to be aware of how to deal with fear because fear is the very first thing that we all experience. That pain, that fear, that confusion is the very first thing that every human experiences when they are born. Tim, I think during this, his wife was, I think, like a couple of weeks from having their second or third child. And I love the idea of instead of talking about how this is what it's like for me to watch my wife go through this, he talks about what is the experience most like for the child. Let's watch this teaching by Tim.
The first emotions we experience as human beings, period. So I realize I'm not sure if I've said this. I don't think I've said this in this setting or not. So some of you know this and some of you don't. But somewhere in the next 4 weeks, I'm going to disappear off the map for about a week and a half or so. And that's because a human is going to emerge out of my wife somewhere in the next month. Like a new human is going to. So, and I have no categories for this. I've been through it once. And I still really don't have categories for what happened and what's going to happen again. You know what I'm saying? It was just so crazy. You're like, this is how it works. This is crazy. So crazy. So anyway, so somewhere in the next month here, our second son is going to come into the world, and we're super excited to meet him. But I've been doing a lot of reflecting, just of course, as we're preparing. And she's over now, 8 months pregnant. And so this is the point where you can fully make out like the elbow and the foot pressing through the belly and this kind of thing. You're just like, that's like an alien or something. It's so crazy. But so I've just been reflecting on what's it like for him right now. He's fully there, because once he's on the outside, he's aware and so on. So that's all going on inside too. He's a little human being who's aware of his surroundings right now. And what are those surroundings like? So obviously it's very, very close, and tied in. It's very warm. He's surrounded by these very soft walls, right, of the womb, and it's like bath water. It's very comfortable. It's dark. He can sleep whenever he wants, whatever. He always seems to wake up and jump around about 10 p.m. every day. I'm not sure what that doesn't bode well for us, by the way, for sleeping. And he has this constant supply of food just pumped right into his belly. And you're just going, man, that's a setup right there. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Who can imagine anything better? Actually, it's just going to go downhill for him, and it is going to go downhill for him. Because somewhere in the next month, I don't know when, I'm going to disappear, and that's because his little world starts collapsing, right? The walls that were soft and blocked all the noise are going to get very tight around him, start to squeeze him, probably very, very uncomfortable. Why is this happening? He's going to be pushed out very, very slowly over a long period of time, but then in the space of just a little while, he's going to very quickly come out into this world. And just imagine, what's happening there? You know what I'm saying? Light, there's going to have to, his throat's going to have to be cleared, and he's going to fill his lungs with what will seem like very cold, strange substance that we call air or whatever. And so maybe he's seen his own hands, but now there's going to be these huge, big hands handling him. And so, you know what I'm saying? And what's his first response going to be? Cry. And this is a cry of reflective, what is happening to me right now? You know what I'm saying? No. It's a primal cry of fear. Fear. The first emotion that every single one of us experienced, in our first life experience, is a cry of fear. The unknown, what's happening, am I safe? I don't like this. Danger, weird stuff's happening to me. I'm not in control. It's the very first emotion that we experience. And I suppose depending on how your life has gone, it could be the last emotion that you experience before your life ends. And dotted in between, of course, pretty much all the way. And so this is primary. If I'm a follower of Jesus, and if a part of following and knowing him is cultivating a personal connection to him and learning the language of prayer, we have to learn how to pray through our fears. Not deny them and stuff them, because they'll destroy you, but not give rein to them and just let them take over your life, because that will destroy you in a different way. We have to learn how to face them and pray through them. And that's precisely what David is doing in Psalm 3.
So, man, let's just think about that for 1 minute. I just love this idea of what is the first feeling or emotion or experience that we have in life. For most of us, right off the bat, it's confusion. It's discomfort. It's pain. The very first feeling most of us might have in our life is fear. And then I want you to think, what happens next? What is the very next thing that happens once that child is born? They clean that child up, and then what happens in the middle of the fear, in the middle of the confusion? What happens? You know what happens. That child is placed on its mother's breast. And what does that mother do? That mother, she holds that child. That mother, she comforts the child. She whispers to it. She sings songs over it. She makes that new life feel safe in her arms, doesn't she? That's just what comes naturally from her. See, we are brought into this world, and the first experience we have is fear and pain. And who is the first person, typically, who helps soothe that fear and that pain? It's our mothers. And I think that there is something spiritually significant going on in those first few moments of life. That here we are, fearful, and here she is, making us feel safe. She just gave us life, and now she wants to give us life abundantly, and she wants for us to feel safe in her arms. I love Isaiah 66, where this is what God says to Jerusalem. It says, as a mother comforts her child, so I will comfort you. You shall be comforted in Jerusalem. No wonder we just had this special place in our hearts for our mothers. And it's no wonder that we are all drawn so deeply and desperately to the givers of life. So, with that in mind, we thought we'd ask you, what are some things you remember about your mother? So we sent an email out to a couple of different folks from our church, and we asked them this: what did or what does your mother do to make you feel safe when you were growing up? How did your mother make you feel loved? Or what do you remember about her doing for you as a child that made you feel loved? And the other one we asked is, was there ever a certain song that your mother used to sing to you when you were little? So with that idea in mind, let's close with Zephaniah 3:17. I love the message where it says, Jerusalem will be told, don't be afraid, dear Zion. Don't despair. Your God is present among you. Happy to have you back. Your God will calm you with his love and delight you with his songs. So happy Mother's Day, and God bless.
Well done. Let's take off this sheet. You okay? Look at her. She's perfect. Wow. Oh, my baby. Well done.
Where have you been? Where have you been? Sing until they sleep, just like you sang to me. Yeah. just like you sang to me. From the day that I met you, I stopped feeling afraid. In your arms I feel safe, in your arms I feel safe. From the day that I met you, I stopped feeling afraid. In your arms I feel safe, in your arms.
When I was growing up, the most vivid memory I have of my mom was that she was always busy, and while she was working, she was always singing. She was singing hymns. The psalmist says, "Because you are my helper, I will sing for joy in the shadow of your wings." And that was my mom. Mom, what a wonderful example. Thank you. Happy Mother's Day. I love you.
So when I was a kid and even up through college, my mom used to give me hugs, and it was a thing whenever I fell down and got hurt, or whenever I was really stressed out. Like, a hug from my mom just made me feel so loved and safe. And we used to sing Kumbaya when I was a little kid, and it just always made me feel so loved and cared about.
A song my mom used to sing for me when I was little was "You Are My Sunshine." I love you, Mom. Happy Mother's Day.
My mom made me feel loved by singing "You Are My Sunshine" to me all the time. And now that I'm 50 years old, she still does. I love you, Mom. Happy Mother's Day.
Something my mom does to make me feel protected is she does the seatbelt arm. I love you, Mom. Happy Mother's Day.
Growing up, I felt safe and loved because it seemed like my mom always had time to play a game or read a book. I still remember one of my favorite books was If I Were Going.
Hey, happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there, and especially to my mom. Thank you for taking me to church when I was a kid. That was the beginnings of my faith in Christ, and so thank you for that. And I know my mother loves me. She's my mom, of course. So happy Mother's Day, Mom. I love you. Glad you're living with us.
Yeah, my mother died when I was 6 years old, and I'm 96 now, and I'm planning on seeing her before long. Thank God.
When I was a kid, I remember my mom seeing my passions and supporting me and exploring them and pursuing them. That's what made me feel loved as a kid. She was a strong role model for me. Thank you, Mom. I love you.
My mom has stood by me through thick and thin, and her love has never wavered.
My mom taught me how to drive a stick shift.
When I was in elementary school, every single morning, I would get breakfast, toast with peanut butter and jam, which I loved, and every single morning, there was a little note my mom wrote me and told me how much she loved me. I love you, Mom.
So when I was little and my mom wanted to make me feel safe and secure, she would usually rub my back or put a hand on me just to let me know that she was there, and kind of just make me be aware. But now it's more of like, she'll call me, she'll text me, try to be involved and as excited in things in my life that I am, and support me in anything that I want to move forward with, and excited when I win, and sad of course when I lose, but encouraging me to move forward and keep going.
My mom used to sing me a song at night when I wouldn't go to sleep. So she sang me Ode to Joy. Love you, Mom. Happy Mother's Day.
Mom always made me feel loved. When I came home from school, I got cookies and milk, sat on the kitchen counter, and visited and talked about our days.
My mom makes me feel safe because she always picks up the phone no matter when I call, and she literally has the best advice. My mom makes me feel loved because she always goes the extra mile, and she always makes everyone around her feel really important and special, and especially her two daughters. Happy Mother's Day.
I always loved that as a kid, Mom, when you'd make us breakfast, for pancakes, you'd always put the pancakes in the shape of bunny rabbits with little pointed ears and eyes and a nose and all that. And I also love, and I remember when I was a kid and you would tuck me in at night, and you'd give me lots of kisses, and you'd always say the same thing. You'd always say, that's all for you and nobody else. Happy Mother's Day.
Our mom makes us feel safe because she gives us good advice when we're in distress.
Our mom makes us feel loved every day when she shows us how much she cares.
And some of our favorite songs that our mom used to sing to us when we were kids include Blue Skies and Rainbows and Day is Done.
So one thing I remember my mom doing when I was a kid is I had an unhealthy obsession with Power Ranger toys, as you can imagine. And so my mom, even though she was working a job, she would go and camp out in front of Toys R Us, KB Toys, those stores aren't around anymore. And she would camp out so I could have quite the collection of Power Ranger toys. And I remember thinking even as a kid how special I was that my mom loved me so much to go get me this toy that she knew that I would love.
My mom makes me feel safe with her hugs and that we need to trust God. She makes me feel love with her kisses, sweet words and attention that regardless the distance, she's still my best friend. She uses to sing and dance with me music from the 70s, and so now this is one of my favorite types of music to listen to. Te amo, mami hermosa. Eres la mejor, and happy Mother's Day for everybody, and thanks for all the efforts you guys do.
From the day that I met you, I stopped feeling afraid. In your arms I feel safe. In your arms I feel safe. From the day that I met you, I stopped feeling afraid. In your arms I feel safe. In your arms I feel safe. And I know that you are with me, and I know that you're at peace, 'cause you let us sing your soul, your mind and heart to sleep. From the day that I met you, I stopped feeling afraid.
Hey there, Boulder Valley family. We hope this morning has been a blessing to you, and especially to you mothers out there. We hope it's a blessing to you guys. We got a couple of announcements, and check out what I just discovered on our software. Ooh, we're getting pretty fancy here at Boulder Valley Church Online, aren't we? Man, I miss preaching to human beings. So several things we got coming up. One is we have ordered about 20 blank signs that we want to give to you guys, for you guys to write encouraging statements on, and for us to put those encouraging statements out in front of the church building. So as soon as we get those signs in, we'll be starting a sign up list for me to drop those off at your house. If you're willing to decorate it, we'll give you guys paint, we'll give you guys construction paper, whatever you need to get those things looking really cool and encouraging. And we'll be having more information about our encouragement signs here pretty soon. Monday, May 11th, we've got a men's ministry meeting. So be looking for the link for that in our email, and be joining us for that Zoom meeting, please. On Thursday night, we are going to have a worship night up here at the church, and you aren't invited to be here in person, but you are invited to join us on Facebook Live. So we'll be sending you an email with the link to that and the time and all that stuff. And that's just a time for us for you to sit down and just to get to enjoy spending some time worshiping with us. There won't be a sermon or a lesson. It'll just be a time of scripture reading and a time of singing together. And then Wednesday, May 20th, the preschool is graduating, and so we're going to put on kind of like a little bit of a parade, if you will, but we won't be driving in the parade. We'll be parked in the parade. We want to encourage you guys to decorate your cars and just almost like be as creative as you can, almost like a trunk or treat kind of thing, but we want to have it set up where as the kids drive in to pick up the stuff from the teachers for what they did during the preschool year, that as they drive through, we'll be honking our horns, we'll have balloons, and we just want to make those families feel extra special. So put that on your calendar. That's going to be Wednesday, May 20th from 9 a.m. to 11:30. And so I know that sounds kind of funny, a long time to sit there, but bring your laptop or your tablet and do work like you do at home, but just this time you get to do it in the car. And then Sunday, May 31st, we're going to be shooting for a drive-in church service. And so we'll be sending you more information about that, but several churches around here have been doing that, and we thought it'd just be encouraging for us to get to see one another, even if it's through a windshield, just to get to spend time together. So put that on your calendar. Sunday, May 31st. Then also Karen Blair, she's got a friend that is doing work out in New York. Karen is a nurse, and so she has a friend who's up in New York helping. And we thought it would be encouraging just to get a bunch of different cards and say, hey, thank you for what you're doing here in Colorado. We love you guys, and we'll be delivering those to the church on May 31st when we have our drive-in services, and she'll be getting those delivered up to New York to our frontline workers there in the New York area. So we got different things going on. We hope you're doing well. If you need prayer requests, if you need anything, please email us, Facebook us, call us, whatever you can. Let us know what we can do to be a blessing to you guys through this time. We love you guys, and I just want to remind you, be wise, be kind, and be not afraid. For the Lord your God, He is with you. And the church says,